everybody. Welcome to my Boomer Buddies podcast, where we tell it like it was and is. I'm your host, Rick Reed. So glad to be with you. If you're new here, welcome. Play a lot of songs from back in the day, TV shows, movies, and history. And if you're a regular, so glad you're here again. Be sure to share, like, subscribe, tell your friends about it. Today, Nina Gagnon is back. She was a guest. Well, it's around Halloween. She had a request for a song called We're Coming to Take You Away. And also the Monster Mash. We did a show on that. Nina Gagnon, welcome to my Boomer Buddies podcast.
Hi, Rick. How you doing?
I'm doing great. Glad you're here. You had another show idea, and we're going to talk about Mary Isabel Bernadette O'Brien today.
And I think you want to tell them we're going to talk about Dusty Springfield.
Yes, we are. And what's your recollection of the great Dusty Springfield?
What a great singer. She has such a wonderful voice. It's smooth. I mean, she hit the highs and the lows in the song. Just smooth transition. Lovely to listen to.
Yeah, and she could do pop songs. She could do dramatic ballads. She could do just about anything, and quite a live performer as well. She didn't live very long, unfortunately. She only made it to 59, just a few weeks short of her 60th birthday. She was born in 1939 in April and died on 3/2/99.
Right.
I wanted you to give us a little background about her, if you would.
Dusty was one of the number one female artists in Britain to come to America. So she helped break the British ties there, coming overseas, giving us new music. She was one of the top female solo artists in Britain.
Another thing, you and I, Nina, are British invasion nerds, and the ones that get most of the credit are the males that came over, but there's some pretty good females too.
Exactly.
And she was probably the top one that, came over, the transatlantic hits that she had and everything. And she was an amazing representative for the British to come over here as a female. And in the 60s, those were her peak years. So she was a member of a few groups before she went solo. The Lena sisters from 1958 to 1960, and then the Springfields with their brother Tom from 1960 to 64. And the hit that you might know here in the U.S. was a 1962 hit called Silver Threads and Golden Needles. And that is a pretty good song. I remember that one. And then she went solo in the end of 1963. She had her first hit.
I Only Want to Be With You was number 4 in the UK and number 12 in the US.
And such a good song. That's probably, I'd have to say, my favorite. And that's a real upbeat pop song. As a solo artist, she had 6 transatlantic hits. She had I Only Want to Be With You. She had Stay a While in 1964. And then she had All I See Is You in 1966. I'll Try Anything in 1967. And 2 releases thought to be considered her signature songs, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me and Son of a Preacher Man later on in 68 and 69. Well, Nina, let's play your favorite, You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. And I'm going to interrupt, and we might throw in a little factoid or two, and then we'll come back into the song. If you want to hear it all the way through, I'll have a link that I'll put on the bottom in the show notes. So make sure you check that out. So here we go. Dusty Springfield's biggest hit, right?
That's right.
Okay, here we go. dramatic break.
Hmm.
Well, let's just jump in here for a second, Nina. I should say that she had so many hits in the UK that did not translate over to the US and vice versa. And I'm just going to mention a few here. I remember some of the US only hit songs that she had, like The Windmills of Your Mind, The
Mm.
Look of Love, and one of my favorites, Wishin' and Hopin'. And what do you think of her performance here? This is live before an audience, and her voice is so true. It's amazing.
It is. It's so smooth. She just sounds so good. Just that likable voice.
She really does have a likable voice, and it's kind of sultry, or whatever you want to call it, velvety, but yet piercing. It's unique. Once you hear the first few lines that she sings, you know it's definitely Dusty. I'll
Yeah.
tell you what, I'm going to back it up a little, Nina, and then we'll jump in and hear it all the way through. Again, the link is at the bottom if you want to hear it all the way through later. Dusty Springfield. You don't have to say you love me. There you have it. Amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Nina, what stage presence, what a performer. She is just amazing. It'd be fun to go over a few tidbits about Dusty Springfield. She had a very interesting life and career. She was from a musical family. Her dad used to tap rhythms on her hand, and her mom also liked music. And obviously, her brother, Tom, whose real name was Dion O'Brien, Tom Springfield later as a stage name. She was given the name Dusty because she liked to play soccer, or as they say over there, football with the
Yeah.
boys. She was a tomboy and she didn't mind getting dirty, so that nickname of hers stuck. She was a fixture on British TV, and she was on Ready, Steady, Go and had her own shows on the BBC and ITV. She topped many popularity polls like Melody Makers and New Musical Express.
One thing that I thought was interesting is she is inducted into 2 different Rock and Roll Hall of Fames and the National R&B Hall of Fame. That was in 2023. Of course, our U.S. Hall of Fame was in 1999 when she was inducted, shortly after her death. And then she was inducted into the UK Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in 2006. But the UK's Hall of Fame only lasted 2 years. I don't know why. It went away so fast.
The Rock and Roll Hall of Fame in Cleveland, Elton John inducted her. That was after her death, like you said, 2 weeks later. And she also is hailed as Britain's best ever pop singer by Rolling Stone magazine. Here's the one, Nina, that I think is the most interesting of everything that I researched. She had 3 regular wigs that she used to perform. One was called Scylla. She called that number 1, Scylla. And I think that's after a fellow wonderful British pop singer, Cilla Black, who
Yep.
did a lot of Burt Bacharach songs and just did wonderful renditions. And wig number 2 was called Lulu, after the singer Lulu. Wonderful singer. To Sir With Love. We did a episode on To Sir With Love a little few months back. and it's the number one rated episode that we've done on my Boomer Buddies podcast. Number 3 wig is called Sandy, after Sandy Shaw, another wonderful British pop singer. So those are some tidbits about Dusty Springfield. Now, her heyday, Nina, was in the 60s. We read off the songs that she had, many, many pop songs. And then she kind of fell into some harder times after that, but she usually kept performing even though her record sales slowed down. Her career was rejuvenated a bit in 1987 when she recorded along with the Pet Shop Boys, their 1987 hit, What Have I Done to Deserve This? And then all the way up to her death, she had some troubles along the way. But I tell you what, her legacy is that she is one of, if not the best pop singer of all time.
Right.
And I think it's wonderful that we are remembering her because music is eternal. And as boomers, I think she would be on just about anybody's playlist. There's always some kind of song that she did that somebody will like. Son of a Preacher was kind of a little Southern flair song. She put her own spin on that one, and it's pretty doggone good. But your favorite is You Don't Have to Say You Love Me. And then, of course, I Only Want to Be With You, Wishing and Hoping. So many great songs by the late, great Dusty Springfield. Do you have any other final comments, Nina, before we close out?
Just that, as you mentioned, Rolling Stones have her rated high, but she's also rated as one of the top 100 singers of all time. And just being recognized in 3 Hall of Fame places, what an accomplishment.
Yeah, and she won an award from the Queen. Unfortunately, she couldn't receive it in person. The UOB over there is quite a big deal over in the UK, and she won that award as well. She couldn't see, Nina. She was blind as a bat. She didn't intend to become known for her bold look with all that mascara. She just couldn't tell when it was enough to look good. That's a fun fact about the late, great Dusty Springfield.
Who knew that?
Right. So, Nina, thank you again for bringing to my attention that you wanted to cover Dusty Springfield this week. I hope everybody out there listening and watching enjoyed this show. Great to have you on again, and can't wait for you to give me another idea to cover, and we'll have you back on.
Sounds good, Rick. It was a pleasure.
All right. Make sure that you comment, like, share, and subscribe. Our subscriber numbers are going up, and people seem to like the content of this show. And I want to thank you personally for everything you've done. I do this for fun. I'm retired now, and I really, really like what I'm doing here. I'm having a ball. Please check us out. If not on YouTube, go to the audio apps like Buzzsprout and Spotify, Google, and check us out there as well. And tell a friend. Appreciate it. For Nina Gagnon, I'm Rick Reed, my Boomer Buddies podcast. Until next time, we'll see you
around the block.
I don't know what it is that makes me love you so.